can't hear you, Bill. Is it maybe just me? I see your lips moving.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me now?
Yep, you're good.
There we go. Okay, thank you. Melissa, you saved the day once again.
Oh, thank you.
Who was that masked lady that saved the day? It was Melissa Uloa at Real Property Management. Thank you, Melissa.
You're welcome.
Hey, Bill Gross here, launching off here on YouTube and our Zoom call. Real Estate Investing, zoom.com. We do a weekly call here, Tuesday, 3 o'clock to give people opportunity to make more money and accumulate more wealth. We have brand new and wannabe investors, experienced investors, people looking for property, people with property, and real estate professionals like yourself here who work in the business every week trying to help you guys make more money. So here's a question. What do you do in your business, in your real estate practice, every day or every week with consistency at a high level?
Prospecting.
Ooh, who said that one? I like that one. Who said that?
It was me.
Andrews, tell me about your prospecting. What do you do?
Cold call. I do some door knocking, so I kind of take that information and reach out. It's all from cold calling, door knocking, sending mailers. I sent 5 cards per real cards. I think there is a value of sending handwritten cards, not with any a logo or sales thing from my business, just a tree on the card. And I sent that to people that I feel I can reconnect to on a deeper level. I don't do it to everyone, but I choose a few, and it's handwritten all the way, and not a lot of sales info or anything like that.
You know, I use a service where I can use my email to send a card, and it creates a handwritten font. It's not as powerful as handwriting. Now, I'm a little self-conscious. I had broke my finger playing basketball, and my handwriting is just really bad. I'm very self-conscious of it. So I don't handwrite much. I don't even like to handwrite the envelope, to be honest. But I think it's powerful to do it. I know when I get one, in fact, I got 2 right here at my desk that people sent me. You know, and these are friends, but I do business with them. And part of why is I'm going to remember them, right, at a deeper level. You're 100% right. So I think especially during the pandemic, anything that's personal is much more valuable. Great. So you prospect regularly. Sounds like you do a number of things, Anders. You door knock, you said, you mail, you call regularly. Who else does something regularly for their business, consistently, daily or weekly at a high level?
Networking.
So what does networking look like, Melissa?
Networking comes in so many different forms. It can be with your local community, with your chambers. It can be on a platform like this, Meetup. It could be, BNI, anything and everything, even walking in to get coffee and just, being friendly with people. I mean, that's just creating a presence, and they start to remember your face. You hand out your card, you're interested in hearing what they have to say. It's not necessarily about you. It's actually about what they want to talk about and what information they were willing to share. That's powerful. It's not me talking at you, basically.
So if I was to divide what you said into 2 pieces, one would be meeting new people, and one would be deepening relationships with people you already know. Right.
And follow up too. It's just not one time, like, thank you, here's the card. Like, even if you call them, hey, how's your week going? That's just important to stay on the radar. And sometimes it seems like it's tedious and, it seems like it's very repetitive, but that's how you really get your presence throughout the community, and people start to respect you as somebody who actually follows up and is that, going to make a difference.
I think that, very good. Thank you. So networking, and she described a couple ways that goes on. Anybody else have any other ways or other activities they do daily or weekly that generate business for them? No?
Yeah, I would say it's Carlos. I spend, 24 hours a day looking for deals, and that's either talking to my agents, in different areas, Craigslist, apartmentbuildings.com. Just a constant, where's the next deal going to come from?
So, but the activity is what? Calling them, going online and looking for them.
It's a combination of all three. Just constantly not. I think I have a funnel, right? And I have the deals that are pending, and I just got to keep filling that funnel to make sure that I have enough. At the end of the day, what's going to come out of that funnel, right? I got to have a couple of good deals. There's deals that fall through. For instance, I had a deal I was working on all the way up to the appraisal. Then the appraisal flopped. So back to square one, right? So
Right.
It's just that constant, okay, got to keep looking at deals. Got to keep swinging at them.
Not all be argumentative, but I'm going to bet that maybe subconsciously, because you've done it for a while, but there's some sort of balance between talking to people and evaluating deals. You can't just evaluate deals. You got to talk to people to get the deals to evaluate, right? And so the point I'm trying to make, I think, is that maybe if you're operating at a good level, that balance is natural to you. You have a sense of what the balance should be. But for people starting out, you need to be talking to a lot of people to get a few deals, right?
Yeah.
So I think sometimes when new people hear more experienced agents talk, for example, I don't cold call 3 hours a day like I did when I was brand new. When I was brand new, I had to generate the business. Now I can spend less time because I'm more dealing with people coming to me and sifting through those deals, right? And so I'm not saying you're wrong, Carlos. I just want to make sure the new person hears you correctly. There's a balance between you got to talk to people, and then you get a chance to look at a deal, and then you evaluate the deals. And if you don't have any deals, the only thing to do is to talk to people, look for them, right?
Yeah, ABC, always be closing.
Always be closing, always be looking for deals to close.
Yeah.
Right? I think we have to make sure that we're doing that all the time as agents. And as I always say, if you don't have problems you're working on, that means you're probably not working hard enough, because our job, for the most part, how we get paid is by finding people with problems. We solve the problem, and that unlocks us getting paid. So let's see. Melissa said building a referral tree, definitely that's part of it. And conscious search for deals, definitely. As a hard money good. So my point today was just to start off and say that wherever you are in your business, take a look at what you need more of, whatever that is, and what can you do in that area on a daily and or weekly basis to generate more of that. Right. So I've had a great run as a real estate agent. I've closed year to date now 12 deals. I have 4 more closing in the next few days. So I'll be at 16 by the next week, let's say. I've been on a great run. But I'll tell you, when those are done, I'll have 1 pending left, and I only have 5 listings. So what do I need? I need more listings, more pending escrows. And I got to look for them now because I'm going to run out of them. And so the goal is to always have a balance between generating new business and closing what you have, so that there's always something going on. And I look at my machine and say, wow, I need to churn up the new incoming stuff. I could back off a little bit on that for the last few months, but now I need to ramp it back up again. And inevitably, to me, in my business, that means talking to more people. My guess is for Carlos is talking to more agents. You can find the deals online, but you got to make that extra phone call to get them to call you. And I've had investors call me and say, hey, I saw a deal you closed. Why didn't you call me on that one? I don't know. I was busy. Like, this other person called me and I did the deal with them. So we'd like to believe when we have a lot of money, the business just comes to us, but it's just not how it is. Now, if you're content with what you have, that's fine. If you're trying to build a business, whether you're brand new or you're at a good level, trying to go to the higher level, at the end of the day, in my estimation, you've got to talk to more people. There's no shortcut around that process. Talking to more people, looking at more deals. But how do you look at more deals? Get more deals your way. How do you get more deals your way? Talk to more people. Talk to people more effectively, yes. But you got to talk to more people. And so inevitably that gets down to what? Phone calls, networking events like this, handwritten mail cards, like Andrews talks about, a great tool if they're generating phone calls, or when you call them back, they're more attentive to you. But you got to do those things that generate your ability to talk to more people, to generate more business. There's nothing short of that in this business. Okay, good. I want to talk about that. Second thing I want to talk about is money. Now, we have a bunch of people on this call that are experienced investors. We have people on this call that are lenders, actually. We have at least one lender I'm aware of. New people always worry about finding money, finding a way to finance their deal. Here's what I'm going to tell you. There is more money than ever. And I've said this for a year. It's even more true now. There's more money than at any time in my career available for deals. You find a deal with this, there's value in it, money will show up. And my proof of that is I just had 2 deals in the last 2 weeks of closing where the buyer didn't have the right relationship for the money set up. They both on their own kind of found their own guy. And in both cases, that guy didn't come through. In one case, I found somebody for them that was a good fit. In another case, they found somebody else, kind of came to them. But my point is, know that if you find a deal with a profit, there's money in that deal. And if you don't find it, come see me. I'll put you together with the money. Some of the people on the phone call here, others will have to go find them. But there is money like never before. True or false? There's money like never before. This is the best time. I've been in real estate since 1986. This is the best time ever to build your business, whether you're brand new or you're established trying to go to the next level. There has never been more uncertainty, more hunger for conviction and certainty, and more money all at the same time. And a chance to work nationwide. That didn't exist 10 years ago, or that was very hard 10 years ago. Now with COVID, it's easy even to hop a plane because there's so few people on planes, or easier in some respects. And with the internet and video and everything else. So this is your chance of a lifetime. And we challenge you to step up and participate and play hard. And how can I help you play hard to be more successful at this? Right? I have a friend on the call, Avram, I'll endorse him a little bit, who just started investing about a year ago, right?
Year and a half, yeah.
And how many deals have you already closed? You flipped already?
We have acquired 3 properties. One we flipped, one we're renting, and one we're starting to build out.
And, with all respect, Avram's a great guy. He's not a rocket scientist. Well, actually, his wife kind of was.
No.
His wife kind of was, but that's another story. But new to real estate. Made some rookie mistakes, right?
Thank you. I'm still making rookie mistakes.
Only a year and a half of the business, yet let's close the 3 deals. So best time ever to start this business, best time ever to build your business. Okay, that was my soapbox. Who's got a question or challenge I can help with today? Anybody?
No, life's perfect, right?
No. Hey, Anthony Brooks, welcome to the call, man. Nice to see you. He's muted up. Okay. Maybe
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
I am doing great. Nice to see you.
Hey, thanks. You know what? I got one thing I want to throw out there. I had a friend call me up Friday, and I was under the impression that, well, I know him from the Bay Area, and I was under the impression he was still there. He let me know when we talked Friday that he's moved to Port Arthur, Texas, and he's looking to get a property down there. I know that area. I'm familiar with that area because my family's from there, but I know it's a hard hit area from the hurricanes over the recent years. What I want to do is put out a word for anyone who knows both realtors out there, got investors out that way that may know some properties of interest, ranging from as far south as the Gulf to about Houston, maybe take it over into Alabama as well. just looking for some properties out that way that may be investment worthy because he wants to do some business with me. And I definitely want to steer him in the right direction.
Okay. Well, so some of you on the phone on the call here network in those areas. So that's an option. I'd say I'm with EXP Realty. We have a national network. We can go online and put out referrals across the country. So we can talk maybe offline about doing that as a tool. There are people make a living in our company just sitting in the middle and getting referrals going, incoming and outgoing. It's all they do all day long. It's amazing. You get enough people. We have 50,000 agents in our company. You get enough people walking through the same application, you're bound to find some deals that are coming or going. So maybe if you're interested offline, I can show you what that looks like.
Yes.
Anybody else? Anybody here do any business in Port Arthur, Texas area, Houston, Gulf area? I know people that do, but they're on the call here today. No? Okay, well, Anthony, if you send me some, let's talk offline. Maybe I know in our other group I'm involved with, we deal with a very, very big agent down in Houston, Robert Rufino, does investment coaching, might be a good connection if your friend's looking to become a wholesaler or investor. He actually has a whole program to teach you how to do that. And he's based in Houston, Texas, actually. So again, offline, you and I get together, we can talk about that. Okay?
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Good. Gab Talks, Escrow Services. Tell me about Escrow Services.
Hi, I'm very new to escrow. Bill, you and I have known each other for about 3 years now. And, I used to do bookkeeping and had a lot of bookkeeping clients that did real estate. So when I stepped away from that, a friend of mine does escrow and said, oh my gosh, you should come and totally do this. So they're here in Burbank, Manhattan Beach, and Inland Empire Riverside. And they can do escrows ranging from your basic run of the mill through bankruptcy escrows, probate escrows, foreclosure escrows. And they said, you are good at talking to people, so go talk to people and tell them to come work with us. And I said, sure.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, escrow is kind of the middle person or the middle spot. When you sell a property as a buyer, you put the money in escrow. And the seller puts the deed, grants the deed, lets escrow hold it. And when all the conditions of the contract are met, the escrow is the one who kind of switches. If you think like a drug deal, how do you exchange the money for the drug safely? The escrow officer is the middleman in the drug deal, right?
You sound like you're speaking from experience.
I am with escrows.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that was clear. I'm not
gonna share what I did make money when I was in college. We're not gonna get into that. But what I will say is that in other states, they refer to them as attorneys because in California, escrows really have a subset of authority that normally attorneys have. Really, they're acting like an attorney within a very narrow bandwidth of the law regarding escrow. And so they can do certain things that, attorneys can hold trust funds and for third parties and things like that. That's really what the escrow does. In Northern California, they refer to as title because normally the escrow department within the title company handles it. Here in Southern California, normally we have independent escrows from title companies, and that's who we use for our business. Often real estate companies own the title company as a way to make money. I can just tell you that the escrows I've closed this year, almost all have been just nightmares where the escrows are so busy. They give really lousy service and hold up the closing. And the other agents complain to me about not getting their commission check. Nothing worse than not paying somebody the money they owe. That's just terrible. And they'll mail the check to the wrong place, and the agent doesn't get paid for like a week or 2 weeks. And I don't have the problem. My checks get wired to me. But for other agents of the companies, it's upsetting to me. I want to create a good relationship with my colleagues at other companies. And the escrow gets paid and they got their paycheck, but the client doesn't. So talk to Gab if she can help you with escrow services throughout Southern California.
A lot of escrow services, if they're in-house with the agent, with the realtor office, they're on salary. So they're 9 to 5. Our office is, you get one person, everyone can help, but you get one dedicated person to the escrow. And they are, if you need them available at 9 p.m., they'll be available at 9 p.m. They work very hard to make sure that everything goes smoothly for you. And then I learned that there's a thing that, what is it called? The paperwork to say what the sale document, all the numbers. A lot of agents will have to do it themselves, but we can do it for you, like lickety split. They're very, they're not complicated, and a lot of escrow agencies won't do it, or they'll charge you for it. We're very.
Net sheets.
What's that?
It's estimated net sheets. It's amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
How agents don't know how to create them. We have within our zip forms, we have a form. And then I'm in the MLS. The MLS has a little tool that you can put in certain assumptions. It'll create one for you as well. But I always feel like, well, if at the end the seller is going to get their check and the accounting of their check from the escrow office, we should get an estimate from the escrow, and then they can compare the final and look at the same piece of paper on the same format and say, well, here you said I'm going to get $400,000, and here I'm only getting $380. What happened, right? And I think it's important to have the same piece of paper at both the beginning and the end. And most, like you say, most escrows won't offer that to the buyer or the seller. And I just feel like as a listing agent, I always give my customer a estimate net sheet when I list the property on my forms, but I really want it on the escrow form when we open escrow to compare at the end. And that's an important. I think the thing about escrow also is people don't appreciate it until something goes wrong. Then they appreciate the escrow. It's just one of those things that doesn't matter who your insurance company is until you have an insurance claim. Then it matters.
Yeah.
Right. And escrow is the same way. It doesn't matter who they are until the deal goes sideways. And then little things. I've been in this business a long time. When rates jump up, there are buyers who back out of deals. Now, has anybody heard about a buyer backing out in the last 30 days because rates went up? Anybody heard about that happening? I don't think it's been happening because the intensity of buyers right now is so strong. But in other markets, I've been around where the rates jumped up like they did recently or a little more, and maybe half or 2/3 of the buyers who were in escrow sought to cancel their deals. Well, if you're a real estate agent, they're basically seeking to not pay you. How's that work in your household? My wife doesn't go for that, right? I got to get paid. So sometimes you say, what's the big deal? Well, the difference between a buyer signing their contingencies on Monday and not doing it till Tuesday can be the difference between them closing or not closing. And so again, it's never a big deal until it's a big deal. And I believe if you really want to build a great business, you want to build great wealth, you need to have great people on your team. So if you're interested in escrow services, talk to Gabrielle and see if she can help you, and make sure that's part of the team that's going to help you get paid and service your customers and make sure your deals all come together.
Well, by the way, out of my 3 deals, there were mistakes on 2 of them in escrow.
Imagine that. Shocked, I tell you.
Shocked. But by the way, I didn't catch.
I was going to say, the one that you didn't catch, there's mistakes there, you just missed them. Rest assured. Yeah, it's not a problem until it's a problem. Good. Who else has a question or problem or challenge we can deal with today?
I have an opportunity that maybe some people would be interested in if they're licensed, and that is that there's a national group that I belong to called the National Council of Exchangers, who in many, many cases deals with 1031 exchanging and marketing of commercial properties. They meet in Las Vegas 4 times a year, and their next meeting is on the 19th of April. And they also have virtual meetings now, as well as meetings where attendees actually show up. And therefore, if people don't have 2 or 3 days to set aside to attend the meetings in Las Vegas, they can sign up to just basically listen to it over the internet. I've been a member for 11 years. I'm a hard money lender myself. I've had many, many transactions with the members. It's a high quality group that is loaded with creativity. And if you're interested in advancing yourself, and as I say, if you are licensed, I would definitely Google the National Council of Exchangers. And again, maybe I can leave the information in the chat for those people who might have an interest, but it's one of the most dynamic groups that I've ever been involved with.
I think it'd be great.
Ed, I don't think you remember me, but we actually spoke at one of those exchangers meetings, and folks, everything Ed is saying about the exchangers is spot on. It's just really really intriguing, and then just a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of opportunities between nationwide. So everything Ed said is right on the money.
Well, thank you. And again, let me just say that it's not a situation where you attend a meeting and overnight your net worth gains $3 million. That's not the way it works. But to the extent that you can continue to attend these meetings and continue to make networking relationships with the people that are there that have certain specialties, I assure you, if you spend the time, it will have a major impact on your future.
Ed, can you repeat that again? What was the name of the exchange?
It's the National Council of Exchangers. And what I will do is I will put that information in the contact information in the chat. Is there anyone that doesn't know how to get to the chat? I'll put it in right now. One other thing I might mention for those that are interested in some of the current things that are coming along, the revolutionary, I think, ideas, is that there's a entity called Neighbor, NEIGHBOR, that has, what should I say, hit the Wall Street Journal, hit the financial pages. They just got $53 million of financing on, I think, a second round of financing. And their idea is that rather than put your goods in a self-storage compartment, that they are going to make contacts with individuals like you and I, who might have an extra room, an extra garage, an extra space, an extra backyard that you might not mind storing someone else's goods in. Wow. And it seems to be taking off, just like Uber, just like some of these other ideas. And I think it's just dynamite. There is an app that you can look for in the Google Play apps that's just entitled Neighbor. And it allows you to sign up if you have space, or to basically inquire as to, is there space in your area that you can rent? And the goal is that thousands, if not millions of people will be able to store their goods in places where basically it's a lot cheaper than it would be at a standard self-storage facility. Obviously, there's security issues and so forth, but I just feel it's very exciting. Wow. Okay, so it looks like my past business and drugs, I have a new place I can store everything. This is exciting. Yeah, I think it's dynamite. You can store dynamite too. Be careful of that. Just kidding. Look, we live in an amazing time. Everything is being disrupted. Everything's being intermediated. And you got to think about how to leverage technology for your advantage. You know, I'll just share with you guys. I have a real estate business. In years past, you know, to close 16 deals, an agent like me would have 3 or 4 or 5, you know, people on my team. My business is basically me. Now I have, you know, 8 different virtual assistants, each doing one different thing. And I have virtual assistants from, you know, higher level American in New York to, you know, entry level pricing in the Philippines at $4 an hour. But I'm leveraging all their work so I don't have to work so hard. And it was a beautiful thing when I took off for vacation for a religious holiday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I came back and I had 12 people who signed up for our call on Thursday. And I hadn't anything to do with it. They just all
click this and that. They got emails and texts, and hopefully they'll show up. So that's the power that exists today. So thank you, Ed, for sharing that. All of us, I think we all know that's there in real estate. I think that all that technology, though, that exists, all those apps, all those programs, still are designed to enable you to talk to more people. That's what the competition can't compete with, is talking to more people.
Bill, you made a comment a moment ago about not having to work as hard. And I think it's perhaps more appropriate to say that you're working smarter. And, and utilizing, like you said, all of these tools that are available to you to allow you to be more efficient and focus on what perhaps you do best and what is the best use of your time, for sure. I
can't work harder than I have a year ago. And I can't work more hours, and I don't want to work more hours. It wouldn't be good for me to. But in the same time, the same effort, I can be more productive by leveraging technology and leveraging other people. That's really my goal. And you have to have a coach. I have a coach who's helped with marketing and networking and using video. This call, we video this every week, and I get, on this call today we have 27 people. I'll probably have another 40 or 50 who watch it on YouTube. It's just another way to leverage my time. I'm not making a second phone call, but that many more people are going to see me, at least for some part of the time, are going to see me on that call without more work. And same with you guys. And look, I want to offer this. About half of you here have been here before, or a couple times before. This is your call too. And I want to offer you to use this time to market your business. If you have something to present that's of value to the other people, that's the key. It's of value to the people. Present it. If you have a property that you have under contract or that you think would be good for somebody in Port Arthur, Texas, or in Kansas City, Kansas, or in wherever, present it. Send me ahead of time. I'll help you present it. I want to help you learn how to be more comfortable presenting online. We'll do the share of the screen. I'll do the technology for you for free. But use this call to leverage your activity across the people that you're going to talk to. You can then take this video and cut out all but yourself and send it out to your database. I'm fine with that. This is your call too. Cheryl, I think, wants to say something. But I don't hear anything.
Yeah, hold on. Trying to collect my thoughts so it's cohesive and coherent when I speak, With regards to leveraging like an assistant or an in-house, even at $4 an hour, is that the person that would then be like doing the calling, prospecting, or how does that, what are they doing? Like, because I'm thinking about that, because maybe my energy of calling is not getting it in terms of prospecting in that way that I kind of like it, but I'm just like, I have time issues. So I thought maybe that would help. Maybe.
I've never met anybody who hired somebody to call for them that wasn't right there doing it with the callers at a high level.
Oh.
I'm sure it happens. I don't know everything in the world, but I've been around for a long time. And I've seen a lot of people say, oh, I'd love to hire a telemarketer who can make the phone calls for me. And then they can write the contract, and they can get the customer to sign the contract, and they can deposit my paycheck, and they can spend my money. Yeah, that's called a competitor. That's what we do. And so I would say to you that you can hire people to generate leads, but you're going to have to close them on the phone. So for example, in this stage of my career, and I've built up a bit of a following now, where I generate daily 8 to 10 new people who want to talk to me. So I'm really only calling back people who at some level want to talk to me. That's my goal. Now, so I spend money on marketing to make those people kind of raise their hand and say, and some of you are on the call. Some of you at one point called me and said, I'd like to talk to you about something. Right? I'd rather talk to you than strangers. But I will say, I spent years cold calling 3 hours a day to get good on the phone to learn what to say and how to say it. And so there's no substitute, I think, for that fundamental and learning that and then getting good at it. And then you can hire somebody else to help you with it.
Bill, I've got another just suggestion or possibility for those out there that might need a a particular project done that they don't have the specific knowledge of. And the name of the entity is called Upwork, UPWORK. Some of you may have used them already, but I've used them for 2 projects that I had that dealt with certain computer things that I was not aware of or wasn't knowledgeable about. And they did them extremely cheaply, extremely quickly. And I had 15 people that I could choose from that basically wanted to do this project for me. And so I would just ask those who are maybe reluctant to accomplish projects that are outside of your own zone, that you can hire people who have incredible expertise that will do these things for prices that I believe you'll be surprised at in terms of how low they are.
Could you give an example of what you're talking about?
Yes, I had my daughter basically does videos like this, Zoom videos, and she is a person who works for a startup that has programs for children that basically help them with bullying and help them with social things. And so she is the chief marketer for them. And she had a Zoom where she had 5,000 people on the Zoom. And basically, I asked her, I said, wouldn't it be interesting if you could show your boss where these people came from geographically? And she said, that would be amazing. And so what I did is I called Upwork and I said, is there someone out there who can geocode, meaning put a dot on a map for every one of these people on this list that they called in, because my daughter had the full list of the 5,000 people. And I got something like 30 replies. And for, I believe it was $50 or $75, a very intelligent and easy to deal with guy from Toronto, Canada, basically did that thing for me in about 48 hours. And as I say, it was a map. My daughter showed it to her boss. It just blew their minds. And it's a map that would take days for me to begin to create.
Yeah.
I too have used Upwork with mostly good results. I did bookkeepers and I did tax stuff. Another place you can look for ongoing project work would be Bark, like a dog barks, bark.com. I don't know if you have to pay to list, but I know the people that are going to reach out to you because you've listed are supposed to pay with credits. Bark is similar to Thumbtack, which I have not used Thumbtack, but I have used Bark.
So I've used Upwork before they were Upwork. I can second what Ed said, and they do a range. There's a range of things that you can use Upwork people for, projects and technical projects. And I've used them and can change. I use my bill every week with them is about $500 a week. I have 8 different people doing different projects. So rather than one employee, I feel like I have an octopus working for me to get so much work done. And I probably get about 60 or 70 hours worth of work for that amount of money. Another one is Fiverr, Fiverr. And that's one where you need something really fast, smaller projects. The virtual background I have behind me, I probably could have done that on my own. It wouldn't have looked as nice. I paid $15 for that. And I did a bunch of them. I kind of had some fun with it and did a few. But Fiverr, you can do things like YouTube thumbnails. And if you're building a YouTube channel, you want a nice banner and a thumbnail, and they all have different size requirements and ratios. And there's people who know those, and they'll just do it for $10 or $5 or $20 or whatever. So Fiverr, Fiverr.com is a good source for small projects. Upwork is a good place to find a telemarketer. If you want somebody to call a list of people, you can hire somebody, and they'll get people in the Philippines who speak English. There's a whole industry of people who speak English like Americans and are available per hour. They'll make those phone calls for you. So if you're interested, who else? Cheryl asked that question. She's gone. But to make phone calling for you, that's another answer.
Another thing that they'll do at Upwork is if you, for instance, are trying to identify, let's see, trying to identify brokers in certain zip codes, what they will do is you can find someone who happens to be on LinkedIn, who basically is on, I can't remember what the level is called, that allows them to be very, very specific and basically pinpoint hundreds, if not thousands, of brokers or other people or executives you're looking for, and basically for you send out flyers, send out anything you want, emails, 4 a week, 10 a week, 20 a week to this list. And once again, it's sort of putting your marketing on autopilot, but it doesn't require you to go through the education of learning how to do it yourself, as Bill said. And again, it very, very, very reasonable.
Yeah, I'm paying somebody for LinkedIn. I want to do some LinkedIn advertising. At least I want to test it. So for $150, I hired a guy, and he's going to spend 10 hours kind of lining out a few campaigns I created. And what's going to happen is at the end of that time, either it's working and I'll pay him and continue it, or it's not working enough and I'll end our contract. But instead of me starting from scratch and putting in my company name and phone number and all that, it's already up and running. And so I kind of delegate out the heavy lifting. And I want to, and one of the ways I make more money per hour is do the things that only I can do. And if I can pay somebody else $4 or $8 an hour to do the job, I'd much rather do that. I'd much rather, that's my business. How can I not do things at $8 an hour to do more $400 an hour work? I'll give you one little example, and this doesn't apply to anybody but a realtor, but we understand the thinking. When I take a new listing, I have to put a lockbox on my listing. Part of my service to the customer is I get a copy of the key, I put it in a lockbox. And as a realtor, with these really cool lockboxes, electronic, and the only people who have access to them directly are the realtors. And so it gives us a report as to who, showed up and when they were there, when they left. Sends automated emails out to them asking them for feedback. It's a really powerful system as part of the realtor package. But the way it was designed, as a realtor, I had to go myself to put the lockbox on. Instead, I undid the shackle, put the key in, and I had somebody deliver the lockbox and put it on. I'm paying them $8 an hour. And that during that time, I made sure I'm making phone calls because my hourly rate, like an attorney, might be $400 an hour. So if I can delegate out $8 an hour and make money at $4 an hour, I come out way ahead. Does that make sense? So I often say, who can do this job faster and cheaper than me? So I can do what I do that nobody else can do. Because stuff that I do, I can in 10 minutes put a deal together and make $3,000 or $4,000 easily. But I can't do that if I'm driving out to put a lockbox on in North Hollywood.
But either of you guys use a service like that to deal with your accounting, your QuickBooks stuff? That stuff drives me crazy, but I'm not that comfortable with outsiders doing it.
So accounting, I think you have to have a little basic understanding of it to set up QuickBooks. Once you set it up, theoretically, it's running on its own, and you're just either giving the reports to an accountant to prepare returns or uploading them to Intuit has a direct link to their own TurboTax software. I do that. My finances aren't very complicated, but it depends on your level. But you really want an accountant to set up your chart of accounts in your QuickBooks, so that it will export easily to whatever tax software you're using.
Well, so putting the data in, I'm dealing with my bank. I'm loading in a lot of transactions from the bank and putting them where they belong, balancing.
Yeah, but the accountant's able to take that. Like my bank actually goes right into the software. So I don't have to import it. I don't have to download and upload it.
No.
It syncs from the bank to the QuickBooks software. That's what you want to do. You'd be careful in the security issues, of course, and where you keep your money and all that. But ideally, you don't want to have to touch it. It should be automated where you make where the accounting should see your spending. In 2021, there's no reason why you should be importing or manually putting in transactions into your QuickBooks.
Yeah, that's another question. I need to change banks and bank accounts.
Can I, being a QuickBooks expert, can I say something?
Yeah.
So some banks, particularly if you're with a credit union that doesn't really do business banking, won't connect with QuickBooks.
Correct.
And some banks, there's been massive improvement, but like we hated doing PayPal because it would import things backwards and wrong.
Yeah.
The other issue that comes into play, I'm not a fan of rules if you set rules, but if you're doing like a flip, and especially if you're crossing years, when you have expenses that are property specific, you're balance sheeting those until you actually sell the property, and you've got to be careful to not expense things that aren't ready to expense. So again, as I mentioned earlier, a good third of my 150 clients had property or were realtors. So I had someone that did notes. I had 8 different people that did flips. So I understand that space. When you're talking to someone who does accounting for you, if you choose to, make sure they understand that space. And if you need a referral, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to give you one. If you're not doing a ton of stuff, you can go to your Schedule E, which everybody here should know what a Schedule E is. And you can take the information on a Schedule E and you can put it into an Excel spreadsheet, and then you can column January through December and do that for each property. That doesn't help you with your overhead costs because you still need to do those more like a Schedule C. But for your property specific costs, you can just somewhat mirror a Schedule E, and most banks will be able to take that. And if they can't, you can hand those spreadsheets to an accountant and they can pull that right into QuickBooks for you.
Now, I would just add to that, if your bank doesn't import from QuickBooks, then change banks.
Is your information in the chat room? Is it?
I put my LinkedIn in the chat, and you can also, my email is right here as my name. You're welcome to reach out to me.
Great.
Does that include
Thank
QuickBooks Desktop? Because I like to use desktop because I don't have to pay for each.
No, it does not. So on desktop, they have connectivity, but it's not as easy. What you would do with desktop is you go to your bank and you download a file that is coded to be able to upload into QuickBooks. It's a bit more complex. And I would, unless you know the software, I would not recommend doing it. At that point, I'd recommend working with a bookkeeper.
Yeah, okay. It just creates more work. The desktop version, you got to find a way to make the online version work for you because you're going to be traveling.
It's just a lot more expensive.
There's a life-changing book that came out a year or two ago called Who Not What, where the question we always ask is, what do I have to do to fix this? It's really, well, who can solve this problem for me? And when you start asking the who instead of the what, instead of you doing the work and you owning the problem, your job is to find people. So to me, that's either the accountant's problem or the bank's problem. It's not my problem. And between the two of them, they're going to have to figure it out. And if they can't work together, I got to find 2 that work together so that they work that out. And that's true with most business activity with Upwork. I think there are plenty of people who will just burn time and do work and turn it into you and complete it. And you have to explain to them, no, your job is not to do the work. Your job is to end up with this output. And you got to figure it out. If there's a problem, you need help, come see me. Yeah. But don't create more work for me. I'm hiring you to delegate the work to you.
Yeah, I'm spending much too much time with QuickBooks.
Yeah, I want to remind you guys that if it takes you an hour and your time is worth $200-300 an hour, and I can do the same amount of work in 15 minutes for $75 an hour, wouldn't it make more sense to hire me? Except I don't do bookkeeping anymore, but someone like me, wouldn't it make more sense to outsource to someone like myself?
Right.
Absolutely. Hey,
so definitely.
Bill, I'm sorry for circling back so late in the call here, but you did ask if there was anybody that wanted to share anything with the group. And if we have a few minutes, I'd love to share one of our properties with the group, just in case someone might have interest.
Yeah, if we can do a 2 or 3 minute version, we're kind of running up against the end here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so we buy and flip properties in Southern California, single multifamily homes, looking for passive investors, minimum $25,000, and generating between 20 and 30% annualized returns. The projects, people have heard this before, some of you, are between 8 and 18 months typically. One project that I'll share with you guys today is a project in Sherman Oaks, single family home, about 4,100 square feet. We bought it at 17% below the as-is appraised value, which was 1.8 million. So we bought below that at 1.495 million. Great location, near Studio City, Sherman Oaks. Everybody knows that. Close to top tier public and private schools. We're going to renovate kitchens and baths and update paint and so forth. Project should be about 13, 14 months in duration, done around April or May of 2022. And we're projecting a 22% annualized return. So anybody that might have some interest in, those are the kinds of projects that we have open to our investors on a regular basis. Again, the minimum being $25,000. And and I put my own money into every project that I can. I don't have infinite resources, my personal money, but we do share equally with our investors in that we always have about half the equity in each project ourselves. So we're sharing equally in all of the risk with our investors. Bill, my information is in the chat box. It's Dave Weinerman. I had to break it up because I kept hitting return by mistake and going to a new little blurb, but my information is there. And thank you, Bill.
Sure, thank you. Anybody who needs Dave's contact information as well, he and I are in contact regularly and part of a networking group, so I see him all the time. So please feel free to reach out to me if I can help make that happen. Okay, so I want to wrap up here because we're kind of at the witching hour. Just one last reminder, in this process, you get out of it what you put into it. I'm glad to have this call. It's been a great source of business for me during the global pandemic. Last year, I had my best year ever as a real estate salesperson. And this year, I'm off to a much better start. And one of the reasons why is because of this call and the one I do on Thursday. I do this for you. I do this to work together to give you as well, to share with you a platform to help you build your business, whether you need more information to learn, to get trained, to meet up new people, or your experience to find deals or find people to work with. So feel free, if I can help you leverage up your business, reach out to me, call me, text me, email me. My phone number, 310-210-0008, 310-210-0008. Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific, we have our probateweekly.com probate focus call. That's probateweekly.com. We do this call, realestateinvestingzoom.com, every week at 3 o'clock on Tuesday. If you're signed up for the Eventbrite, you'll get a link to the video if you want to see a replay of it. I'd love for you to like it, comment on it, make suggestions to make the call better, and subscribe to the channel to help support us. We're at 194 subscribers on the way to 200. So it's been a fantastic source for my business. So I'm Bill Grossman. I thank you all for participating today. Make it a powerful week, a successful week. If I can help in any way, reach out to me. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks.